The story of East of the Sun, West of the Moon. Once at the edge of a dense forest, a thunderstorm struck, causing those in a tiny cottage to tremble. The man turned to his wife. "Did you hear that?" "Did I hear that? All I can hear is thunder." No, a knocking at the door." "Oh, it's probably just our daughters in their bed, their knees knocking with fear." "I think someone's knocking at the door, caught in this storm." "Well, suit yourself, husband. Go, see if someone's there. It'll only be wind and rain." But when the farmer got up out of bed and passed by a bed shared by his 3 daughters, "Father, is someone there?" "I'll see." Kitcha-clunk. Oh. Opening the door, he found himself greeted with just darkness and the torrent of rain. Ba-boom, ba-boom! He found, in a jolt of lightning, a figure illuminated of an enormous white bear. "Forgive this intrusion. I am here to make you as rich as now you are poor." The farmer looked up, aghast. "If one of your daughters," said the bear, "agrees to live with me in my castle for a year and a day, I promise to make you as rich as now you are poor. I will return in a fortnight for your answer. May it be one of truth." And with that, the bear turned and went off into the storm and gloom of the night. The man staggered back. "Have you seen a ghost, husband?" "Yes, perhaps it was just a ghost." But the daughter said, "No, it was a bear who would make us as rich as now we are poor if one of us agrees to live with it for a year and a day." "Do we have to go and live with that bear?" "We'll see." When the fortnight came, bump, 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 the man heard the knock on the door. He stood up and kitcha-clunk. "Oh, huh! I will answer truthfully for my daughters, Great White Bear. They fear being with you in a distant castle. Forgive us. Bring no harm to us if we say no." Well, the bear gave a courtly bow and said, "I understand," and it turned to go away. But something about the bear's composure moved the youngest daughter. She ran forth. "Will you promise to make us as rich as now we're poor if I agree to live in your castle for a year and a day?" "Indeed, indeed, come." And the bear let the girl climb upon his back, and it wended its way through a dense forest until they came upon a splendid castle of stone and wood. When they entered, the girl, filled with wonder, she saw a table with a bell. The bear explained, "Ring the bell, and you will have whatever you want." She picked up the bell and gave it a ring, and there appeared a fine feast. When she rang it again, she was dressed splendidly. When she rang it a 3rd time, there was a little stringed instrument she'd always wanted to play, and rang it again, and there were books. There were so many wonders like this in this castle that she scarcely heard the bear's warning. "I will be round and about by day, but at night you sleep in that room over there. In one of the beds, another will come and sleep in the bed near yours. Never look at the one sleeping in the bed next to you. It will ruin all." "All right, I agree." But she was always so tired at the end of the day, she never looked at the one in the bed sleeping next to her. She never even saw who it could be. Until after a while, she grew homesick. "Please, I want to know if you've kept your promise and made my family rich as now they're poor." "Indeed I have." "But I miss them. Would you bring me back to see them? Please." "All right then. Come, And again the girl climbed onto the bear's back. They returned. Our girl cried, "Where have you brought me? This mansion you see now belongs to your family." A great door opened, and there appeared splendidly attired folk. "Father, you look so grand in a vest. Mother, I love your gown. Oh, sisters." And they hugged and kissed and, had a joyous reunion. When their time together was done and the bear beckoned, the mother came to our young woman and said, "Now listen, you've got to find out who sleeps in that bed beside you. It could be an ogre or a nasty troll, a demon of some kind. Mother, listen, you take this candle and this match. Light the match. You won't be able to see until you light the candle. Do it when whoever is sleeping beside you is sound asleep, and make sure whatever it is not a demon or a troll. Listen to your mother." "All right then." And she tucked into her bodice the candle and match. When she met with the bear, the first thing it said was, "Do not listen to what your mother says. She knows nothing of this matter." But now a seed of curiosity had been planted, and on the first night, our girl could not sleep. She heard the other one getting into the bed next to her. On the second night, she burned with curiosity, but by the third night, she was ready. She had memorized what floorboard creaked and what was silent. Stepping on the silent boards, she made her way over to the bed, brought out the match and the candle, struck it, and yea, it exploded. But when she lit the candle, she found in the bed beside hers no ogre or demon or troll, but a fine young man with a pure countenance. So relieved was our young woman, she leaned over and gave him a kiss. "Ah!" He woke. "Look what you've done! Oh, I've spilled wax on you." No, not just that. You swore you wouldn't look at the one sleeping in the bed next to you." "I'm sorry. I was just wanting reassurance that you weren't an ogre." "I'm not an ogre, but now I'm doomed to marry the ogress's daughter. She lives in the land east of the sun, west of the moon. Never mind my fate. How could I expect anyone to not look at the one in the bed beside them for a year and a day? Worry not of my woe, just go and sleep." And she did, thinking maybe it was a dream. And she grew cold and reached for blankets and found her hands filled with dry leaves. She found herself on a bed of moss. The bed, the castle, the young man, the bear, gone. But she remembered, he's to marry the ogress's daughter in the land east of the sun, west of the moon, because I couldn't keep my promise and not look upon the one sleeping in the bed next to me. Well, all I can do is see if I can save him from that fate. And our young woman began a quest to go get to the land east of the sun, west of the moon. No one seemed to have heard of it until at length she met an old crone bent with age, with wrinkles in her wrinkles and moss growing in the wrinkles. She says, "Kiss my green hairy wart, and I'll tell you how to get to the land east of the sun, west of the moon." Well, no one had given our young woman any word of finding that place. I don't know if I would have done so, but our young woman, she leaned over and kissed the wart. And in a tinkling of bells, the hag now was as young as she had been old. And she said, "Go north until you reach the land where 'tis always winter. There find the north wind, cajole him into taking you to the land east of the sun, west of the moon." Ha ha! And our young woman followed that directive and found herself in a land where snow always sat on the ground. and she found sitting on a sort of throne of stone the icy north wind. With eyes like glass, a beard of icicles, hair like snow, he says, "What do you want?" "I want to go to the land east of the sun, west of the moon." "Too far." "Well, I'll ask the south wind." "No, I will take you there." She climbed onto his back and held onto those icicles. He drew in a great gust of air and ran over waves until he came to a desolate island made of stones and bones. Withered from his journeying, the north wind rested. Our girl looked about. She found a kind of mansion made of stones and bones. A window slid open, and there appeared a face lined like an ancient stone, with lichen and moss growing upon it, 2 living fish for eyes. But over her shoulder, our young woman saw that young man. "Who are you?" "Oh, I know. You're the wedding feast. I'm the bride's mother. Quick, jump into the pot. We've got to cook you up quick. The guests are coming." "Oh, I'm from the land of the groom. I must make sure that all is well." "What do you mean?" "Why, he must be dressed immaculately." "What?" "Let me see him." "Who's there? Who's there?" cried the ogress's daughter, the bride-to-be, wearing a gown of seaweed. Her nose was tied in 3 knots, I suppose to prevent it from running. "What is she doing? Isn't she the wedding feast? Have her jump into the pot." "Oh, no. Look, the young man, your groom, he has a stain on his shirt. If he marries like that, it will be most inauspicious." "Huh? Bad luck. Terrible things will happen." "Ooh, your children, they'll be pure black or white." "Oh, we can't have that." "What can we do?" "I must have the shirt cleaned." "I'll clean it," said the mother, and she stripped the shirt off of the young man and dipped it into a pool of water. When she brought it out, however, the shirt was coated with mud. "I'll do it," said the ogress bride-to-be. But when she dipped the shirt into the water and brought it out, it dripped with blood. Then our young woman, with a wish and a prayer, took hold of the shirt and dipped it into the water, and when she lifted it out, why, it looked brilliant, bedazzling in the sunlight, and the light stung the ogress's eyes. And in an instant, the young woman grabbed hold of the young man and ran back to where the withered north wind had recuperated. She said, "Bring us back." "Yes." They jumped onto the back of the north wind, who took a great gust of air in and ran. From the land east of the sun, west of the moon, they returned to the young man's castle, and he turned, tears in his eyes. "Thank you, thank you. You've broken the ogress's spell. No longer will I be a bear by day and a man by night, but I will be your man all the time." And with that, I understand they lived happily ever after.